Here we go. It's almost time for the show, but I want to take a few seconds here to talk about vigilantes. If you are not, right there, man, if you are not a vigilante, why not? It's $5 a month. It is less than the cost of a cup of coffee, and there is so many benefits. The biggest benefit being you get to connect to like-minded individuals who think the same way that you think. And it's a powerful, powerful place to be. The Discord is where all of the interaction is going on. There is so much going on in there, it's hard to explain. And the only way to be a part of it is to get on the Patreon so that you can get access to the Discord channel. It is a good time. Go become a part. There's new stuff we're working on. Last week, we had a vigilante meetup in Louisiana at the Lift conference. It was a phenomenal time. And the vigilantes and I got to sit there and discuss, hey, how can we make these even better? How can we make these even better? And we did. We decided a way to give the Viceroy solid rules and ways to host the meeting, how to open with the toast and close with the creed, and what to do with the coins and the numbered coins and the challenges involved. It was a good time, man, to make it even better. They're doing stuff like working on building the V drive, putting together all this knowledge and files that they're building together. Currently, they're collecting blueprints and plans to work for the work of search, which is the drill supplement for the book of search. It's going to be coming out soon. They're working on putting that together. It's just phenomenal what they got going on. Not to mention, you get swag discounts, access to the vigilante only shop, access to the after parties, and of course the vigilante meetups. It's amazing. If you're not a part, why not? I have to ask you that. If you're still only on the Facebook, man, get with the times, get on the Patreon so you can be in the Discord. Do it. Quit faffing about. Patreon.com/thevigilantes. Go join so you can get in the Discord. Right now, we're currently doing a V50. There's like 35 of us doing a V50 together. We're on day 2 today, and we got 48 days to go, but already it's challenging me, and the accountability is amazing. So if you want to find like-minded souls, patreon.com/thevigilantes. I'll see you on the Discord.
In the demanding world of firefighting, training against real-world scenarios is crucial. Yet traditional training facilities often fall short in providing realistic, versatile, and cost-effective training solutions. Affordable Drill Towers presents a groundbreaking solution. By positioning an affordable drill tower alongside your existing Connex boxes burn buildings, a realm of realistic, multi-level training scenarios is unlocked. This integration has been adopted successfully by various fire departments, enhancing their training capabilities exponentially. Delve into the heart of live fire training scenarios within the Connex boxes, now amplified by the ADT's multi-floor access, providing an unparalleled training ground.
We started looking at Connex boxes about probably 10 years ago. To me, you can't beat them, especially for the price. The affordable drill tower was the same way. We've got 6 floors, we've got standpipes on every floor, we've got more anchor points than you can count, we've got removable floors, removable stairs. We can go into the 2nd and 3rd floor off the drill tower, so whether you want to use it as an external stairwell or a high-rise, we can do all that and mimic just about any type of situation that the members of the fire department might encounter.
Experience cost-effectiveness, enhanced realistic training, versatile operations, easy multi-floor access, and innovative solutions to age-old training challenges. Take your fire department's training to the next level with Affordable Drill Towers. Reach out to Affordable Drill Towers to elevate your training capabilities today.
Corleymore Firehouse Vigilance. It is weekly scrap number 299. My guest tonight is Ray McCormack. If you are into the job at all, then Ray needs no introduction. Recently retired after a 38 career with the FDNY. I could list what this man has done, but it would take too long. everything he's been involved with, the pies he's put his finger, everything. So here are some highlights. Chair and lead author for the FDNY Engine Company Operations Manual. He developed and taught basics to standpipes for all FDNY firefighters. Founded Urban Firefighter Magazine. He is on the FDIC Advisory Board. He sits on the UL and NIST studies. One of the most amazing keynote speeches to ever be given from the stage at FDIC. This man teaches, he speaks, he keynotes across the country. He is passionate about improving the culture of the fire service. I'm always excited for the scrap, but I'm very, very excited for the conversation tonight because I love Ray. And when Ray has a dream and a nozzle dream and just all that kind of stuff. Welcome back to the scrap once more for episode number 299. My friend, Ray McCormack.
Thank you, Corley. I appreciate that. I've been looking forward to this one. As you know, we spoke down in Florida. I took in the 9 L's. I've read the book. It's excellent. And I took in a 4-hour session on the book, which was very dynamic. It was really good. And we talked about presentation styles afterwards. And I picked up some tips watching for sure.
Well, that is a huge compliment, so I'll take it as such. Have you figured out a way to get your vision captured yet? Because you sent me that text, and I wondered, did he do that with his voice, and is that part of it?
Yeah, well, it's kind of part of it. I talked to somebody else. There's probably an AI program that's available to do, because it's basically voice to text. So it's not that hard to figure out. But yeah, it's just an interesting concept. By the way, everybody, we were talking about creating a PowerPoint as you go. In other words, the speaker would click on his remote and the words would come up, whatever key phrase they wanted, and then you would discuss what that was, and then maybe audience participation. You ask them something, they give you some phrases back, and you put those up. So you create the PowerPoint as you go along. It's something different, but I think that'll be something people will do in the future. And your program spurred that thought in my head.
I love that.
The way it was delivered. So it was very interesting.
Well, thank you. Is there anything I missed in the intro? Anything you want to add? Because there's so much. It's hard to melt you down to a 30-second bio.
Yeah, it's fine though. We'll get into some different things, but
okay.
The fire services, a wonderful opportunity for everyone. Like I said in my keynote, the fire service holds out a spark for everyone. It's up to you to find it, nurture it, and develop it. It's there. It's there. You just have to find it.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, audience, get your questions ready for Ray and myself. We're going to have some fun this evening. And before we do, we'll do those sponsors, the beautiful, beautiful sponsors. And we'll start out. You spoke, Snap Tight listened. Built with you in mind, the newly launched American-made Supreme 2 is designed to perform at low and high pressures. With Supreme 2, you can count on improved packing and kink resistance, making it a game changer for all municipal firefighting needs and price points. Now offering guaranteed shipping and 28-day lead times. Visit snaptighthose.com to learn more and find a distributor near you. Affordable Drill Towers, on a mission to bring you cost-effective and versatile training props, like the Affordable Bailout Prop, which allows you to practice window bailouts, ladder bailouts, and ladder high point rescues. They also make the Affordable Standpipe Prop, which you can roll into the classroom for standpipe theory, and then roll it into the parking lot and pump realistic flows and pressures. And their mainstay, the Affordable Drill Tower. It comes in several configurations and standard with the standpipe system. You can choose from 1 or 2 sets of stairs, integrate it into your existing connect boxes for multi-story access, or freestanding on a slab. Call Steve, 844-55-TOWER, or drop an email to info@affordabledrilltowers.com. Firefighter safety and accountability starts with being able to quickly find and identify individual firefighters operating on the fireground. Identifier Safety combines the best in photoluminescent materials for durable firefighter identification solutions that can glow for up to 20 hours. No switches, no batteries, which means being able to rapidly identify firefighters by name, unit, or assignment, even under hot fire conditions. All designed and tested for the rigors of the job. Be seen on scene. IdentifierSafety.com. Last but not least, Insight Fire Training. Thermography certified fire service professionals. Insight Fire Training specializes in training individuals across the globe in the tactical use of thermal imaging cameras in emergency services. Insight Fire Training developed the world's first thermography-based collegiate firefighter certification and training and trains firefighters, manufacturers, and industrial professionals across the globe. And if you know Andy, you know he's an amazing human being. So all that being said, there you go. The sponsors are done, and it's time to scrap. My man, Ray McCormack, I always love whenever a guest is coming on and they send me their topics to discuss and things like that. And what you let off with is what I'm going to lead off with you, which is the interior of the house is not an obstacle to extinguishment. The interior of the house is the path to extinguishment. So talk to me.
Yeah, 100%. I grew up in a fire department that believed in interior fire attack, and it's kind of ingrained in my DNA, I suppose. But, we'll go back to the UL study where we looked at interior and exterior fire attack, and exterior fire attack is something we have to use as well. But interior attack was never looked at before the stream study came out. And I was excited to be on that panel because, I wanted to find out what's the science behind what we're doing. Does it make sense? Can it be validated? And, I had a lot riding on that, but I believed in my core that it was going to work out. And sure enough, scientifically it did. And I kid around because if you go to pretty much any engine conference these days, the people participating are going to be doing some version of flow and move, and which really is the gold standard of fire attack, interior fire attack. And some people, they don't understand the word aggressive. I just read a whole thing on, that on the internet somewhere the other day. And I was like, some people want to strike that word from our verbiage. And I'm like, there's no way you can do that. An aggressive interior attack is an attack that progresses. In other words, it starts in one place and it has a rhythm and it continues down until they get to the fire room and put the fire out. That's an aggressive interior attack. People don't seem to understand that. I'm not quite sure why, but that's basically it in a nutshell. When you start that propeller, that plane is going down the runway. And if you have some good pipe man on there and a good backup firefighter and a good boss, they're getting down there and they're going to put that fire out. And that's what every homeowner wants. That's what everybody who has a fire wants. They want aggressive firefighters. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having aggressive firefighters. And there are people who try and put a ding on that. And I have to fight against it because they don't seem to get the concept that, we don't want passivity at a fire. We want active, we want engagement, we want dedication, and we want people who are talented and people who have the gumption to get the job done. That's all one package. It's very important. And I will say this, and we're going to talk about a book that I've created. It's not out yet, but one of the things that's in there is the fact of how important this really is. And the other thing that I find very interesting, I know we have a bit of a recruitment issue, it seems, in the country. Not everywhere, but it seems to be. But I will tell you this, it's very interesting. How does a fire department, and I'll use New York City as my reference, they give a written exam, they give a physical agility test, the CPAT, and how do we end up with such great people? We don't like do some personality test or anything, but the people we get and the people just about every fire department gets are 99.9 just phenomenal people. And how does that happen when you just basically say, hey, we have a job here, pass a simple test, pass some physical tests, that you can do, and we end up with great people that are honest and will go in someone's house, their jewels are all sitting on a table on a bureau, they walk right by it. They're not interested in taking a souvenir. These are great people. They're great people. And we have been blessed with these people. So the fire service continues to pull these people from all different walks of life, all different socioeconomic backgrounds, good histories, histories that were tough. And I don't know what it is exactly, but man, we got the secret sauce. We
attract the best human beings. I mean, we really do. Good human beings. I always good human beings make good firefighters, and for whatever reason, the fire service attracts the best of humankind. The first, yeah.
But it's like, how? How does that happen? Well, they have something inside them. They have values inside them, and they may or may not be very evident with their values. But intrinsically inside these people is a will to do good, a will to work on a team, and get the job done. And once they understand how it all works and they contribute to it, it gives them a satisfaction that few jobs could ever match.
Wow. No, I love that. I love that breakdown too, because once you do belong to it, once you do start making that difference, that's that thing that kind of perpetuates itself with those around you and the team.
So I'll do a little bragging. My former company, Ladder 28 in New York, one of the firefighters I worked with is getting the top medal this year.
Nice.
For a rope rescue that they did. They did two. There were 3 rope rescues at this one particular fire, and it was during the day, so that's like unusual. You know, you figure a fire during the day, but it was a bad fire. And anyway, he lowered the probie. Now the probie knew what to do. He knew what to do because he had been trained by the guys. I had been trained at the academy, but I know how intently they are about the life-saving rope. And this kid performed admirably. The senior man who was driving lowered him. Then he went over and completed the rescue. Now, you know, things don't get better on the fire ground. On the second go-round, it's worse. But anyway, he's getting the top medal. The probie is also getting a medal. And the third fella that went from Squad 41 is getting a medal. Tremendous, great performance on all their parts. Really, I mean, this is the last resort type of rescue, and they did it flawlessly because they practice, they care, and it's tremendous teamwork, and it's teamwork into unit teamwork. In other words, when they come up on a roof and another company comes up on a roof, they all use the same sheet of music, and that's how you get stuff done. You can't be, oh, we don't have SOPs. I've fought against that too forever. You need SOPs because people can't work together otherwise if they if they don't know what the other team is doing. So these all these little things float around, and they all come to fruition at some point. And anyway, I'm just very proud of him and all the firefighters, and it's just great. And I'm going to have an opportunity to go to Medal Day this year and cheer them on. So it's great.
Right. I love that, man. I love the pride I can hear in your voice and the fact that your company did that too, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it. Are you ready for your first question coming at you from the audience?
Sure.
Scott Hoke, he wants to know, what is the differentiation line drawn between recklessly aggressive versus tactically aggressive?
What is the difference?
What's the separating line in your opinion?
Well, I think you have to know what you're doing, certainly. I would say being reckless would probably fall under the thing of not really having an idea of what you should be doing. In other words, if you do something stupid, that would be reckless. In other words, but if you know what you're doing, the risk is a little different because you weighed it correctly. But if you don't dive head first into something and then hope you survive. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You can't do that. So you have to have an idea of the environment you're working in and what you need to do in that environment at that time, because things change. Like if you go into a building that has a fire in the truss, let's just say, and you're underneath it. Well, if you go in there right after the fire started, it's probably not a big deal. If you go in there a long time after it started, well, your risk level has definitely gone up. So
right.
The level of risk changes. Again, recklessly aggressive, I think, has just been added to aggressive to make it sound like any part of aggressive is reckless, which it isn't. So we have to stop saying that. Aggressive should mean that you're intense and you are intent on getting it done. I worked with a fireman who had the irons a lot. So he had the Halligan or he had the can or whatever. But when he had that Halligan, there wasn't any door he couldn't get through. That was in his mindset. And you worked with him, you knew you were getting through that door. So that's aggressive. You can't be aggressive if you don't know what you're doing, though.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So there you go. So there's no recklessly aggressive. There's just reckless. Just being reckless is just being.
I think so. Yeah.
Not competent. And that comes down to knowing what you're doing. Yes.
Yeah, certainly.
I love it. Next question says, when you wrote Culture of Extinguishment, did you think it would have the impact that it did? And what was going through your mind as you prepared to give that speech? Which is kind of getting to a little bit about the book here, if you want to talk about it a little bit.
I was wondering, where am I going to put this gum? No, I mean, I was just thinking about it like anybody else, just nervous to get it done. You're the last one to go in the day, and then you're told, hey, you had 20 minutes, but you only have 19 now. Can you hurry it up? You know, you're like, really? Like,
right.
You know, I'm not nervous enough, but just I had no idea how the speech was going to resonate. I really didn't. I just, you know, wrote down things that I wanted to speak about and tried to tie it all together, and it became what it became. And no, I had no idea how it was going to be.
No, and it was.
I hope it would be good. You know, I hope it would be good.
Yeah. The hope was there. Well, I mean, it was a lightning rod of a speech that absolutely electrified, divided, the entire fire service.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it most certainly did. It still resonates today, and you know, we've made a lot of progress. I certainly believe we've made tremendous progress with it, because I see a lot of talk about culture, and culture is very important. We want to develop good cultures, whether it's extinguishment culture, search culture. That's fine. All that stuff is important. So now we have people who are into that and expanding on it, and it's wonderful. And I really think we've made tremendous advancements. And, you know, the other thing that's important is fire voices are being heard. Firefighters are being heard. I'll tell you a little story. When I was a fireman, I was sitting at the table one day, and I was a probie, and I said something. I joined in the conversation, and one of the guys, who was actually a very funny guy, he says, "Hey, the firemen are talking now." Like,
yeah,
you shouldn't be talking. You're not a fireman yet. And I was like, it was funny, but our voices are being heard. And what I love about it is there's a chorus going on at every conference in this country, that our voices are being heard by our fellow firefighters, officers, and chief officers. And it's crescendoing a little bit every year. It really is. You see differences in how things are addressed. We see progress in our operations. People are understanding VES and aggressive interior attack, and people are practicing to be better all the time.
No, that's awesome. No, and I love the crescendoing effect that you're referencing, because if you travel and go to conferences, you can see it, and it's palpable. You can feel it. You can feel it, and it's great.
Yeah.
Jeremy Humphrey wants to know, what's one lesson you learned a hard way on the fire ground that changed how you train or operate?
All right, I'll just give you, for instance, I had a standpipe fire one time. I had 200 feet of hose. I needed one length to reach where I needed to go. We had a couch burning in the hallway. So I told the firefighters, just put 2 lengths together, that'll be fine. And it was. We reached it. And then I got a report from the chief saying that the fire was in an apartment down the hall, and I wouldn't have reached there with the 2 pieces of hose. So after that, I was like, we wet everything, wet it all. And then, it'll be drained with the tears of the firefighters afterwards, because they had to drain 2 pieces that they didn't use, but you gotta cover yourself. And I didn't get burned, but that's a lesson for future officers. If you bring it, use it, because you just want to make sure that you're covered for any eventuality. And that was something I didn't do, but I always pass that on in my engine class, because, learn from my mistake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I'm looking here. I like this question. It's very broad. You can go whatever direction you want. Jeremy Humphrey also wants to ask, if you could mandate one change in national fire training today, what would it be?
that we would burn with real furniture. I think it's important that the firefighter get today's firefighter in the fire academy, not when they go to their first job. And we can do it safely. UL has proven that you can do it safely. So I don't buy this whole thing that it can't be done safely. When you look at 1403, the thing that covers live fire in quiet structures, that was written in blood, no doubt, no doubt. But some of the things were so egregious that somebody should have stood up and said, whoa, this is not cool what you're planning on doing here. So if we stick to a good program, it can be done. I just think we're doing a big disservice to our firefighters by not giving them what they're going to get a taste of in the field.
Right. No, and no, absolutely. Like you said, we set them up for failure.
Look, we were fortunate where I worked. We had door props, but we also worked on real doors. And I think that's important too. People get used to working on props, and that's fine. But you, at some point, if you can, try and get some real doors to work on, because they're different. They operate differently. And you don't want to be good at props. You want to be good at real doors. So it takes effort. All this stuff takes a little effort, but it's not insurmountable. It really is.
Looking at the questions, Sam is pulling your questions, by the way. Keep them coming. There are a lot of questions, Ray. People like to ask you questions.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Jeremy Humphrey, thank you for that question. This one's coming at you. Where's this one at that I just saw? I saw one about, right here, Eli Babcock coming at you. Which fire, as a company officer, did you feel the most proud of your company, and why?
Oh. Well, I mean, I had quite a few prideful moments. I was with two firefighters. They made a great rescue. I was with them. They got a guy out. One guy found him. The other guy assisted removal. The man's alive today because of that. The pride is really in the dedication. You know, when you work with people, and hopefully people listening do, and they need to make it that way. You're going to work with tremendous people in this career. And you don't need to have a big moment. The little moments are good too. Just pride, people doing the right thing, that little extra somebody might do. It all adds up. And, to pick out a single moment, I don't know about that. I don't know that I can do that. But I gave you an example.
Sure.
And I think just the pride of one of the other things, I was at a party a while back, and one of the fellas who's in the rescue company says to me now, and he says, "Oh man, I love when we used to drill, blah, blah, blah." So all that drilling that we did was appreciated. And that really, that touched me, because that's where it's at, to hear them say that. And they grew up loving that. They grew up loving that. They love it. And they can't get enough of it. And you know what? They're great firefighters because they made themselves great.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I got a question coming at, well, let's see. This one is again, culture. Bob Reiser wants to know, how do we get firefighters to understand that good tactical aggression will decrease their overall work through better application of water downrange?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Today's fires, you have to open up probably earlier than you think you need to. It's always better to open up a little earlier than late. You got to remember the heat release rate of the products in the houses today is very high.
Right.
They are heating up other things in your path, and you don't know, they're starting to off gas. You can't see it necessarily, but you have to realize if you're feeling heat, well, that heat has already been transferred to the products in that room. So the last thing you want to do is have stuff light up behind you. So I always tell people, it's the path that's going to get you in trouble. It's not the fire room. If you get down to that fire room, you're going to put that thing out. It's the getting there. It's the approach is what you have to be careful of. Because, fire's coming out of that room, it's coming down the hall, you have the door open, you're going in with the line. now you're in the path of all that energy. You have to open up the line at some point. You should not be trying to get all the way down there without opening the line. That's a fool's errand. You have the line. That's your safety. That's going to help you with extinguishment. It's going to help cool the surfaces, and it's going to allow searching to continue too in a much safer environment. That's another thing you have to remember. There are other people, our firefighters, are relying on this engine to make the environment better.
I love it. I love Brush, you know, and his we fight conditions. We fight conditions all the way in. We fight conditions, then we fight fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Mr. Van Luvender, Mr. M. Van Luvender says, do you think the fire service does enough to sell themselves to the public through PR work, or should we be doing more? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we should have a bumper sticker that says, we'll do anything to save your life.
Nice.
Because we will.
We will. No, absolutely.
We will. I saw a hospital that had that as a giant sign. And I'm like, okay, the doctors are saying that. Yeah. That's fine. But when is the doctor risking their life to save your life?
No,
we do it every day. We should be telling people we do it every day. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I love it. I love it as a vision, a mission, a bumper sticker. I think it should be slapped across the, like you said, on a billboard right outside every firehouse.
Yeah. Hey, it's what we do.
It's our mission. Yeah. Dude. Hudson Kalina wants to know, as a firefighter on an engine company, what would you say is the #1 skill to be the most proficient at? There is a great many skills, but what in your mind is the one that edges out all the others?
Being able to put out a fire. Advancing the line and putting out a fire. Because if you're in the engine and you can't do that, then you need to practice.
There you go.
Because that's the most basic job in the engine. It is everyone's task at some point. You know, people become drivers and things like that. But, yeah, no. It's that in a nutshell.
Coming back to the notes here, maybe. You've got a book that you have, you're done writing it. I mean, you might be polishing and editing and stuff, but it's coming. It is coming.
Yeah, it's completed, yes.
What do you want to tell people about it?
I want to tell them that it talks about the values that are discussed in the speech that I gave. And, you know, it's 16 years later. I wrote the book. It was 15 years ago. But it's not out yet. I have to get it published, certainly. And I think they'll enjoy it. It's a book where you can bounce around. Each chapter is a little different from the previous one. And it's really a tribute to the firefighters. You know, there's obviously portions of a memoir in there as well. But it's really about those values that I see that they have and, you know, that are so critical to what we do and how we do it and the way we do things. It's really like a celebration of who we are, I think.
No, I don't want to, I've got to read the book. So I'm very, very excited for when everybody else gets to do what I've done. And, it absolutely digs in. Like if the question that someone asked earlier, and I don't want to, you can tell me to shut up anytime, Ray, but the question someone asked earlier is what was going through your mind right before you gave the speech and things like, and you actually delve into that in a chapter, the thought process behind it and sitting in the green room and, you know, your emotions and what you were feeling. And he takes you there. And not only that, but then you get the aftermath and everything that caused from it. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it goes over that. Certainly. Yeah. And because people are interested in that and it is important to discuss. And yeah, I just, it's written from the heart. I mean, I made sure I put a piece in there about my senior man too. And it was just, you know, the epitome of what a senior man should be. And, you know, I just felt like I had to put that in there. And it's in that chapter, but you know, it wouldn't have been complete if I didn't give him a little nod, you know.
Right on.
Because it's hard to talk about people because there was so many good and influential people, but you don't want to leave people out either, so I try not to do too much name dropping because, I didn't want to make it about like that way. But
Sure,
so there's
sure.
a few people mentioned in the book, but the ones that aren't, don't worry about it. You're in there. You're in there already.
and let's be honest, you've worked under some absolute giant. I mean, your mentors and influences is amazing. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, no, I did have the distinct privilege to work with some people who were very well distinguished with inside the FDNY and some outside the FDNY too. And, there's good people all over though. There really is. And that's just my experience that I'm sharing. But, if you're not having those experiences, I hope you get them because they really do help your career and they just make the job that much better for you. But the only thing you can work on is you can't improve them. You have to improve yourself, and that you can control a little bit.
Right on.
Yeah.
Rob Fisher wants to know, did Uncle Ray mention where he was and why he's wearing a sports jacket? I think we lost you. Did Ray mute us, or I think he might have muted us on purpose. Right. He's telling him to get the hell away from me.
I'm back.
All right.
We have a technical issue here, so but anyway, we're going to solve it before my power goes out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing. What was the question?
Rob wanted to know, did Uncle Ray mention where he was and why he's wearing a sports jacket?
I did not.
Is it okay? I didn't know if there was an inside joke or not.
No.
Or if Rob's just curious.
He likes the way it looks, I'm sure.
Okay. There you go, Rob. Luke Stevenson's asking this question, and a lot of people are interested.
Detroit logo, right? Red Wings.
I like it. Luke Stevenson coming at you from Australia. He has this question, and a lot of people are interested in your thoughts on it. What do you think about combined fire ambulance services? Do you think that it results in fire skills being de-emphasized or neglected?
Yeah, depending on how the system works. Yeah, I'm a little saddened when I hear that the young firefighter won't get on the fire truck for several years. I think, and I get why that happens. I'm not a fan of that system. I think you're taking people at their potential prime and kind of just, they're on the ambulance and they're helping people. I get that, but we need them on the fire ground too. If they're exclusively just on the ambulance, that could be an issue. Hopefully they can do cross, when they get there, they can also respond to the fire. But not a big fan of that. Certainly. I get it. I understand it. Just, it's not something I think is great. Do I think skills diminish? Most definitely they do. Yeah.
Right on. It's hard not to if you're focusing on something else, or if you're even splitting your focus. There's no way it can be as good as if you're focused.
Makes perfect sense. Yep.
I like it. David Pruitt, Daddy. Even with some still being divisive, you are leading the way with getting water on fire. Where do you see the engine company at in 10 years? Crystal ball time.
That's interesting. I think there's a good possibility that hardline hose may come into effect. Instantaneous water to the nozzle when you pull up, and a reel line that kind of takes the place of a cross lay, so that we can get water on the fire as quickly as possible. I think that might be something that we would go to. As for, that's sort of like a structural, thing.
Sure.
As for staffing, that's always a tough one. I would like to see the volunteers do more of a live-in thing. I think it would be nice for our volunteer firefighters to have more of a lived-in experience than they currently have, so that they can respond at night and get to these houses. Speed's everything, basically. Once the call comes in, the way the fires are burning today, and people are trapped by the smoke, so speed is important in whether it's volunteer or paid, whatever it is. I would love to see more of that. I think the live-in part of it is important, and I would like to see it funded. I would like to see towns pay for the meal for the night. I don't think that's very expensive. I think it's important for that to happen.
I love this. Yeah, great answer. Great answer. Great question. And you got your power coming?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, that went in. Yeah, this is
Perfection.
I have my technical team working on it right now.
Round the clock. This is the best part about being live, baby.
That's the charger right there.
I got a great question I love. Oh, go ahead, Ray.
I can't tell.
Solid?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Garrett Crotty. He says, Ray, who was your best senior man in the FDNY? And can you tell us what attributes they had that you enjoyed the most? And what made them your favorite? I know it's not a fair question.
Mentioned, one fellow was Mike Capasso, and that was in Ladder 24 when I was there. And you'll have to read the book.
There you go. There's a teaser. Mike Capasso and read the book. There you go, Garrett. There's your answer for your questions. Some of these questions aren't fair. This is Stephen Kaiser saying, you travel a lot. He's coming at you from Australia. Stephen Kaiser says, Ray, you travel a lot. Which has been your favorite conference to attend and why? Like I said, not fair questions.
Yeah. I'll just say FDIC. That keeps it kind of neutral. FDIC, what I love about that is our industry is on display under one roof. I love that. It's a conference, but it's also a trade show. And there's just so many conferences that are going on. To pick them would be very difficult because there's good people giving great classes everywhere. So I think go out, find that conference that you like, check out a few other ones. Whether you could do it once, twice a year, whatever it might be. FDIC, of course, is a big one. It's a different type of show, but I think you can get pretty much whatever you want if you check around. And if you have to travel, you might have to travel for some of them, sure. But that's a loaded question. I'm not gonna.
No, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Steer anybody,
not a fair question.
If you leave somebody out, and I don't want to do
that. They're sending a lot of questions your way, Ray. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to sift through them all. Sam's doing a good job of putting them all in here, and I'm trying to go through them. Michael Ramirez wants to know, because this is a different take on a different kind of question. He says, Uncle Ray, what's your take on firemen trying to be fire famous in today's world? We seem to forget that we all do the same thing, just different departments, different problems. What do you think of that?
Firemen trying to be fire famous?
Fire famous.
I mean, is he referring to people who speak, I guess? Because how else?
Maybe the internet, maybe trying to be like
okay. Yeah, well, the internet is available for everyone. Look, there's a lot of people that have good balance when they get on the internet. Some might be reaching a bit. Yeah, that's possible. Certainly, I've seen all manner of it. But if you have good stuff and you don't get ahead of your skis, so to speak, I think you'll be fine. I think what he might be referring to is maybe somebody that he knows or feels isn't quite qualified to give the advice. And, there's no way to stop that. It is what it is, and it doesn't matter where you come from,
Right on.
Don't think everybody from FDNY is the same. We're not. So, and that would be the same for any fire department. There's great information from the volunteer world, the paid world, big, small. There's a place for everyone. I just think that possibly the delivery might be the issue.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Kyle Piverall has one for you, and he says, this is a very general question, and he apologizes beforehand, but he says, as a junior man, what can I do to help improve or build a better engine/culture of extinguishment?
As a junior firefighter?
Yes. Well, as a junior man. Yes.
Yeah. Follow the lead. Be dedicated to your drills and be a participant, participate and learn for yourself too. I had a young probie ask me what he should do, and I'm going to follow the advice Frank Lieb has spoken about numerous times. Read every day. Read something every day. That's over 300 things you're going to read in a year.
Yeah.
And it's not hard. And it's time to sharpen your axe. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's your personal time. You're sharpening your own axe by doing that. And sooner or later, maybe you're an expert on something, because there's a ton of information out there. It's just a matter of grabbing it and embodying it.
Right on. John Johnson wants to know, Lieutenant Ray, how do you find the motivation to continue to press the limits and to make the fire service better, even when the topic is controversial? Your commitment to the job is inspiring.
Well, thank you, but I don't find it hard to do at all. I enjoy it, and I think there's a lot more to be done, certainly. Granted, the generation that's working today will encounter things that past generations have not. I was just at an EV study, and they burned an electric pickup truck, and they set a heavy electrical charge to the thing. It started to off gas, and within a few seconds, the thing was fully involved. And one of the instant takeaways I had was, you can't walk up to one of these like it's nothing. You cannot. You have to be on air before you get there, because these things are so volatile, and you don't know what's going to happen. And, car fires were always dangerous.
Sure.
Pistons would let go. Things could fly out of the car. You can get maimed and hurt without being anywhere near the car. So this is really, now there isn't a lot of EV fires. There aren't that many, but as they become, as they get older, as they age, whatever it is, there'll be some. But you really gotta stay current, and you gotta look out for yourself a little bit. The gases that come off the thing are extremely hazardous to your health. So, look, we got to protect ourselves. You got to live to fight another day.
Right on. Rob Fisher coming at you with another question. He said, you may have already explained your history with the FDNY, but you worked for a solid ladder in your early days. What drew you to the engine?
I got promoted, and Patty Brown, who I knew, was the captain of 69 Engine, and asked me one day if I wanted to come to 69 Engine. That's also in the book, I believe. And I said, of course. I mean, what an honor. I mean, This was not only a phenomenally busy engine, the stretches they did were intense. And I was so fortunate there. I had a lot of senior firefighters that I worked with. We had an influx of younger firefighters, and I was pretty green. I was, but I paid attention, and I loved it, and I made it my own, and you can. So, again, it's dedication. The other thing that I loved about the engine was the finality of what we did. You either did it or you didn't. So, you can't say, oh, it's kind of hot in there. Yeah, okay. That's
always 50-50.
Excuse not to get it done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
it's always 50-50, right?
Yeah, it's always 50-50, right?
I love that. I love it. Oh, 8:49. I got to write that. I've got a timestamp. I'm sorry. I got to do a good job of taking notes. You can't be as entertaining. Great question, Rob. Thank you for it. What do you think? And this one ties right back into your 2009 speech, and I think you're very clear on this. But Scott Hoke says, because I like the end of it. He says, "What are your thoughts on safety culture?" And I think we know, and you can touch on it. But he says, "Do you believe that departments with a pro-us first stance should be held accountable for citizens lost? Why or why not?"
I think that could be a slippery slope.
Yeah, very.
Look, the people that run fire departments, the chiefs, they have to worry about their people. We all worry about our people. I was a company officer for 26 years. I worried about my people every day, and I'd be reckless if I didn't, right? But that doesn't mean I didn't have a high expectation for how they would operate. I most certainly did. They had the same for me. So there's no conflict there. There is no conflict there. Now, if you operate under a safety culture that is oppressive, that is very difficult to get out from under. I understand that. We've had firefighters fired, chastised, demoted for doing their job. It's sad. It really is sad, but hopefully those people, as like the conferences continue and as culture builds, I think as this generation gets older and into the position of authority, I think we're going to see change. I think we're going to see a lot of potential change for the good.
Good. No, and the drum is being beat, and it's been being beat.
Yeah.
I mean, for a long time by a lot of good firemen, you included, especially with the speech itself that kind of was the, I don't know what you call it, the crescendo, the lightning rod, the
clarion call to
the clarion call
to think about extinguishment culture, certainly, and FDIC is an interesting place, and the speeches that are given there are supposed to shake, rattle, and roll a little bit. Not all the time, probably, but every once in a while. And I was fortunate. Mine hit that pocket. And, look, it's been a while, certainly. But I think writing about it 15 years hence adds a little something to it, because speech was then, but what I'm writing about is kind of now and where we've gone a little bit in there. But essentially, the people that we attract are still phenomenal people. And we want them to have a good roadmap.
No, it's phenomenal. And what's crazy is when I listen to it, it's so applicable today. Even like you said, it was 16 years ago, and here you are writing a book about it. And it's like you came and gave it last year about today's issues, And so it is. You should be very proud of its timelessness. Hopefully someday it will be dated. I mean, hopefully that would be ideal.
The speech is interesting. I've met many firefighters who play it. They have their own copy and they play it, and it helps them reorient themselves and assists them in getting in a better headspace than they were. And I mean, I've met many firefighters who tell me stories that I'm not going to repeat, but I mean, really touching stories about how, they were
powerful.
Yeah. Just like what it meant to them. And,
absolutely.
It's just amazing. And it's an honor to hear those stories.
Well, let's talk nozzles for a minute. I got a question going into nozzles first, which is DJ Stone, 850 Fireman. With the advent of the bladed pattern, do you think there is room for a lower GPM flow? And he then said, "This is a loaded question," with a laughing face. So there's DJ throwing you a soft toss to swing at.
Well, yeah, no, I do think there's an opportunity for that. I don't know how low we're going to go, and I've talked to DJ about this. NFPA says first two lines 300 gallons, right? So that kind of tells us 150 each at least.
Right.
If they drop that number to 275, you could have a 150 and a 125, or you could break it up however you like. But if that number drops, that's going to green light lower flows. UL knows we can use a little less water. That's probably true. But, my thing is this. Are you going to get on a rope that holds 400 pounds or has a breaking strength of 4,000 pounds when you're making a rope rescue? We need a factor of safety in there. We need a cushion for whatever, because maybe somebody's at half bail, there's a malfunction, there's a kink, whatever it might be. So while we can get down to lower flows, when we're going inside, we want to maximize what we have, because we want to kill this thing right away as best we can. But I know what he loves. He loves the smaller diameter hand line, which is cool. And I think we could certainly hit that 150 mark with that with no issue, most certainly. And one of the things that's nice is the lighter the hand line, the more maneuverability, and he's talking about the blade pattern, which is wonderful too. The other thing, I might as well talk about it, was the back pressure increaser, which adds rigidity to the hose, and that alone is like just really game changing, because that technology allowed me to create the force nozzle, which is at 45 psi. So, so one thing leads to another, and it's tremendous opportunity. Yeah, there'll be things that'll change in the future, most definitely. I believe that. Like when I talked to you about having that hard line off the rig on a reel and instantaneous water, and that line, you could, if you were doing exterior fire attack, you could have it a little lower, but if you want to bring it in, there's no reason why it couldn't be at 150, and and now that's your attack line. Bing, you're in there. So who knows where it's going to go? Predicting the future is not something I do, but
right.
We'll figure it out. But obviously, speed of operations is always going to be at the forefront of everything we do.
Right on. Speaking of the force nozzle, yeah, you got to say basically your nozzle dream. If you could put together your dream nozzle, and you got to put it together, correct?
I already did. Yeah. So I had this idea for flowing 1.75 inches at 175. In other words, the flow would match the hose size. That was not possible to do, because you would have had to drop it to 45 psi. Now, to flow a nozzle tip at 45, the hose is probably not going to be very cooperative.
Right.
It'll be like a slippery noodle, and that's not what you want. But with the back pressure increaser that Dennis came up with, I talked to him about it. I said, hey, I want to drop this thing to 45. He said, yeah, we can do that. So I was like, all right. So that's kind of where it came about. And like I said, that was my dream, but I didn't even know I had a dream at one point. Frank Lieb, I'm going back to Frank. I'm going to drop on Frank again.
Okay.
Frank says to me at a conference, he says, hey, are you ever going to design a nozzle? And I said, no, I'm not doing that. So he's like, why not? I said, well, just not. And one day I was home, and I sat down and I started thinking about what he had asked me. And to use a pun, it literally poured out of me. And I had like 4 or 5 things that I came up with, but the technology wasn't there.
Sure.
So it was a nozzle dream at that point. And once the back pressure increaser was designed, and it was a matter of just modifying it a bit, that allowed that. And the best part is, you're going to flow 175 with 60 pounds of nozzle reaction. Now, one of the things that people loved about a 160 flow was the nozzle reaction.
Right, right.
They loved it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the flow. People really didn't care that you were flowing 160. It was the nozzle reaction they cared about, because 60 became the standard of, hey, one firefighter should be able to handle a fully open bale with 60 pounds of nozzle reaction. So that became the standard. And that's why, that size became so popular. But now you're getting an extra 15 gallons for the same value. So how can you argue with that? It's wonderful. Right. And you can get it in, we have a solid tip that I designed, and we have the blade, which is solid stream to the, wide linear blade stream. So, I'll see if I can show you something here. I brought it with me. I actually wanted to show it to you. I think it's holding up the phone, but I'm doing this on my phone. But I wanted to show you. This was the original tip I designed. This is an 1 1/8 FDNY tip. Don't tell them I broke it. Pushed into an oval, and that was to hopefully, what I wanted to do with that was to basically use that to put a stream up the face of a building for for I'm sorry. Here, hang on one second. Technical problems.
Live show. Enjoy.
It is a live show. All right, we're back. We're good. I wanted to shoot that stream up the face of the building, and I did it. I had an elbow, and we shot it up the face. I wanted to see if an engine could shoot water up the face of the building and the wind would bring it in for a wind-driven fire. Well, that didn't work, but that's where that tip came from. And I would use a small one, a half-inch one, to do wash down, and it gave you that fan spray, but it wasn't a nozzle, and its functionality was kind of limited. But
sure.
When I ran into the hen, like 12 or 13 years later, after I built this thing, I was like, wow, somebody actually put this into a nozzle. This is awesome. And a little while later, I joined them in this progression of thought, and it's been wonderful. And I just love it. I mean, we're going to see more and more innovation in all different fields. It's a great thing to be a part of.
It's awesome. No, that is awesome. Okay, I'm going through the question. I don't want to leave anybody's questions out because there was about 40 questions I didn't get to. So you have to go back.
Hit me. Give me a hit.
Rob Fisher said, hey, this is more of a statement than a question. Tell Ray his followers want Urban Firefighter magazine back.
Okay.
So there you go. Message received, he says. Kyle Piverall says, Lieutenant, if the guys are unmotivated or not excited for fires, if they're not excited for fires anymore, are they too far gone?
Well, you have to make sure that they don't get to that place. We can pull people back. We can pull people back into our circle. We have a welcoming circle, and you got to make it interesting a little bit. It's sad that some people do kind of, if you want to say, lose their way. But we have to make sure that we put those buffers in so that we don't lose people, in that. So that's part of your firehouse culture. That's part of your routine. If you're a boss and you don't drill, you're not doing your firefighters any help. You're potentially putting them at risk. So the officers that are here, that is your responsibility to train your firefighters, and you want to build them up. And that's also part of the time of when we eat dinner together and share a meal. We talk about fires, and there's plenty of fires to talk about. It doesn't even have to be yours. You don't have to own the fire. You could talk about somebody else's fire.
Right on.
Look, I've said it. It's fun to keep fire in your life. It's important that firefighters keep this passion for what we do, because if you don't have passion, it's not good. It's not good, because people are going to wonder what kind of firefighter you are.
Right on. John Johnson, why do you think fire departments around the country are not as structured in their procedures on the fire ground as the FDNY, with their writing assignments, SOPs, tactics, splitting crews, etc.? Why do you think that is?
Yeah, because they haven't dedicated the time to it, and they also believe that SOPs are handcuffs, which they're not. I talked to you before about the rope rescue.
Right.
Everyone in the FDNY is trained in that. Every engine firefighter, every truck company, each company has their own life-saving rope. The engines have it, and they train on it on a different day. That's how sacred it is. Both companies in a double house do not train on that rope on the same day. So when the truck is using it, they'll probably borrow the engine's rope just in case they get a run, and they do it on different days. That's how important it is. But I think it's just a matter of, making sure that you don't buy into certain silliness, which is the fact that SOP is a handcuff. It's not at all. Because imagine we're doing some sort of stretch, and the West Side engine does it a particular way, and you're an East Side engine person. Now you're working on the West Side. You don't know what the heck these people are doing. You can't help. So everybody cries about staffing and staffing shortages. Well, you just created a staffing shortage because this person can't help you, because you're doing something totally different than what they do. Because that's how we do it over here.
Right.
And vice versa, it's how we do it over there. That's not how a fire department should operate. Everybody should know the same thing, operate from the same sheet of music, and then you can plug in anywhere.
Love it. I love the message on SOPs and policy. I mean, I do, because it's how you, like you said, it's the same sheet of music. That's one of the best analogies ever.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody playing their own instrument, making their own noise.
Yeah, sure.
I love this one coming at you from Luke Stevenson. He asked some deep questions, but he wants to know, as an officer, how do you balance humility and confidence?
Well, I think humility is an exceptional trait to have. Look, if you're humble and you have some issues, people will understand that. They'll give you a bit of a cushion. If you're a braggart, they're going to let you fall to the ground. They're going to be happy about it. So humility is a trait that you have to have. It's very important. All the best people I worked under were usually very humble, very humble. So that is one of the traits, as you know, that's in the book. Humility's in the book.
There you go. We got to get this book out.
So
We got
they're
to get
hitting
this
on it. They're hitting on it without even knowing they're talking.
right on. Right. And it's the traits of a fire. I mean, yeah, it's there.
Put it up on the PowerPoint. Humility. Okay, we got that.
Right on. All right. I love all this. You guys have been awesome. I'm going to move to book or books that you think firefighters should be reading. I love asking this question because you know how much I love to read, but what books should firefighters be reading? Doesn't have to be a firefighting book, but what books that you think they should read?
Well, we probably discussed this already. I loved In the Mouth of the Dragon. They're going to redo it. It's a hard book to find, but it's very interesting because it talks about some famous fires and how the people died at these fires. And a lot of it is smoke inhalation and the plastics that were burning and still burn today and how important that is. I loved The Warriors by Bob Farrell. I thought that was just a very nice book. I like self-help books. I like to read business books. What else? It's okay if you don't like reading books, but read something. Read magazines, read articles, read online. I probably get 3 fire magazines digitally and, or just scroll it on my phone. And I tell people this all the time. Read something you may not even be interested in. Just read it.
On.
It's not gonna kill you to read something that maybe you don't agree with. Maybe you'll pick up something. It's just another perspective. So that's another thing. People have stuff that they can contribute, and part of that is an interest in the job. So I had an interest in the job, and I loved writing. So that allowed me to, see something, write about it, and share it. Anytime you write an article, you're sharing information that you've learned with other people and to a wider audience than you would in your firehouse, certainly. And you want to have humility about that. You never want to lord that over anyone that you got something that they didn't have. Or I think one of the other things I've always cautioned people of, you come back from a conference, and I just saw a firefighter wrote about something like that tonight. I saw it on Facebook. I took a screenshot of it. I will read it. I didn't read it tonight. And basically talking about coming back from a conference and the experience of joining your fellow firefighters that maybe weren't in attendance. And you don't be the guy that comes back and, thinks you're better than the people you just worked with a week ago.
Right.
Come on. We all have to get together. I mean, look, we live in a world right now where there's constant information. It's changing by the minute. Conferences are all over the place. You can, there's information everywhere. So to try and lord something over someone else is not cool. That's not cool. You learn that's great. You want to share it a little bit, that's fine too. But to come back and think that the people you work with are not as good as you thought they were. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Doesn't tie into the humility we just talked about at all.
No.
And we're on book, so I'm going to bring up your book one more time because it's coming. Is there any sort of teaser on a time frame?
Well, I hope to get it out this year. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. We got him committed before December 31st.
Sure.
We've got him committed.
Working on the title. Still don't have a title yet.
Book of Roy?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't know who that guy is, by the way.
Who's that Roy guy?
Yeah.
All right. Then we do a thing here, and you've done it many times because you've been here before. But this is I don't know if we had this. I don't think you've had these set of questions before. I think this is fresh for you.
Okay, go ahead.
So here we go. You know how it works. There's no right or wrong answers, just your opinion. And if you had them before, just enjoy them again. I don't think that we're here for 218, which I think was your last appearance. So You're the probie once more. You have to cook the meal at the firehouse. What is your go-to meal?
Spaghetti.
I love it.
Because the first time I cooked it, I thought it was like potatoes. What do I know? I'm Irish, right? So I put 3 pounds of spaghetti in ice cold water and then turned the stove on. Well, it came out like this glutinous bowling ball. And so now I know how to cook spaghetti.
That's the way that was the hard lesson learned.
Yes. Yeah. I ruined dinner.
So is your spaghetti pretty spot on now? Are you good at spaghetti now? Do I want to have your firehouse spaghetti or?
Yeah, you could have it. Yeah.
All right. I look forward to it then. Now, max points on number 1 for the hard lesson learned. Number 2, it's job town. It is time. You're en route and responding. You got to think of the scene from Backdraft where he slaps that tape into the cassette deck. What song are you playing while you're en route?
Interesting. Oh, wow, that's good. Let's see. Led Zeppelin. Now I'm not going to think of the name of it. Come on now. I just heard it the other day.
Kashmir.
Kashmir.
There we go. Yeah, I wondered. I was in my head. I was like, I bet he's thinking of Kashmir, but I didn't want it. But until you did the riff. Once you did the riff, I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I love the beginning of that. I love that.
No, I do. The riff is unbelievable.
And I loved when you had music in your class. I'm gonna take a little cue on that. Maybe I'll do some Kashmir in the beginning of my class.
I love it. I can't wait to take it. Max points, 2 for 2. Number 3, whose boots, past, present, or future, would you like to spend 24 hours in?
My father's.
Any elaboration, or is that enough said?
That's it.
Fair enough. I mean, you get max points for saying your father, so period. 1, 2, and 3. Number 4, you are retired. I know that's hard to imagine, but you're retired. You're sitting on a beach, sipping Mai Tais, enjoying life. What do you want to hear through the grapevine that the people you used to work with, how do they describe you to the new guys coming on the job, the new guys and gals coming on the job? How do they describe you?
Good boss. Good boss, I would say. That's enough. I think that says a lot, even though it doesn't say much. It says a lot. Praise in the FDNY is not lavished and it's not spoiled on people. So I think there's a quote by Bob Morris who says, like one of the best things you could say about somebody was he's a good fireman. And I love that. I love that. So I would go with the same thing. I think, he was a really good boss.
I love it.
That's
easy.
That's good.
4 for 4. Now, you've had this question many times, and it's heavy fire, searchable space. Would you rather be assigned to the Nozzle or first in on VES?
Is the room open or closed?
This is your scenario. It's heavy fire, searchable space.
Well, I mean, we did a lot of search. When I came on, I was in a ladder company, and we searched without the line all the time. And it's something you have to get used to, certainly. But for the Nozzle firefighter, there's nothing like it. So I'll just say those 2 things. How's that?
Okay. There it is. The 5 questions for firefighters once more from Lou, Uncle Ray, Mr. Smoothbore Santa himself, Ray McCormack, my brother. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me, especially from Detroit, brother.
Yep.
If someone wants to get a hold of you, if they want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Well, I would say they could just email me, I suppose. FIRENYMEN, FireNYMEN, at, get ready for it, AOL.com.
There you go.
Now, it
There you
shouldn't be
go.
too hard. There's only like 6 of us left on there, so it should be able to get through.
Find you on that server. I do a thing where I ask you to give a challenge to the people who are listening, a challenge for them to complete before next scrap. So basically a 1-week challenge coming at them from Lieutenant Ray McCormack. What kind of challenge would you like to throw at them?
Well, I'll be self-serving. Watch the speech.
That's a great one. I don't think it's too self-serving either. It is phenomenal. Type in Ray McCormack, FDIC.
I mean, you know, I'm pardoned, so it's okay now.
He did get the pardon this year. It only took 16 years to get it. It took executive order.
That's it. The governor was asleep at the wheel, I guess.
And that's it. Now, the one question, this is a new thing I do each time at the end of the show, which is I ask you, the guest, who's someone I should have on the scrap, because I'm always looking to find new people. And of course, with 300 people, it's hard to, I forget who I've had on sometimes. But, so you may say somebody who's already been here, but I'm always looking to have new people. Who do you think should be on the scrap?
Jeez, that's a hard one. Oh, man. Again, you're putting me on the spot.
Again, I love putting you on the spot, Ray. It's my favorite.
Person. How about Steve Florian?
I would love to.
He's here with me tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, get me his contact info and I can reach out. You put him on the spot. 23
years with Detroit. Prior to that, Gary, Indiana Fire. I mean, the guy's worked in ghettos his whole career. He's awesome.
He's got a few stories, what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, hey, pave the road for me and get me his contact info and we'll get him on here.
All right.
I love it. There you go. That officially makes it 299 scraps in the books. Man, awesome. What a great evening, man. Thank you for taking the time to do it, overcoming all the technical difficulties, making it happen. Vigilantes, there will be an after party. It'll be something a little bit different. Ray, you're invited to it if you want to show up.
Yeah,
as always. Here. Okay. We'll
Good.
Get him into the after party. And then next week, number 300. And a lot of people are saying, what's 300? What's 300 going to be? What's 300 going to be? So there's 2 hosts next week. It is Scott Thompson and Rob Fisher. They are the hosts next week. They are interviewing none other than myself, it was really hard for them to talk me into it, but we're going to do it. They're going to talk. We're going to celebrate the scrap and its 300th episode. And so it's all things scrap related. So you want to tune in next week as we celebrate 300 episodes of this and the amazing firefighters who have made it happen. So it's going to be a good time. And then after that, it's back to business as usual on the scrap after the celebration. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all for being along on the ride. Thank you for the amazing guests who have come on through the years, just like Ray, who's on his 4th episode today, which puts him up there in some pretty elite company.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Hey, man, every time I've enjoyed it. Every time the people, the scrappers absolutely love it. And speaking of that, audience, you make the scrap magical. Each and every week you show up, you ask beautiful questions, and without you, it doesn't exist. So I can't ever say thank you enough. Thanks for showing up. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I love you all. Remember, yes. Oh, yeah, everybody's been asking about the Mayday. We had a Mayday in my department. He had surgery today. There's not a lot of public information according to his family. There's an official release of how he's doing and stuff on the Moore Fire Department page that you can read if you want to know the story of how he's doing as he goes through surgeries and whatnot. And there is the guys at Woods Forcible Entry donated a prop to be raffled off. All the proceeds going to the family for immediate disbursement, so if you want to be a part of that, go jump on. It's on Firehouse Vigilance. You can find the link. Sam shared the link right there. You can go buy a raffle ticket, win a Woods Forcible Entry that they donated, and all the profits are going to his family as he goes through this terrible ordeal and faces this recovery. So all that being said, thank you, Sam, for reminding me. That's it. Go. And the best thing you can do, honestly, if you're not buying a raffle ticket, is go share it. Share the word of it. Go out there and share it right now. That's my challenge to you. Go share it so we can get all those spots filled. Remember, mutts don't scrap. I hope the tones stay silent unless it is burning. Everybody, stay safe out there.